And away we go. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you as always by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky. No better day than Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, this weekend. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Perfect to also have delivered to your house for a nice Saturday of lounging around and watching a bunch of college football, because you don't have to go to the Bearcats game or worry about watching the Bearcats tomorrow, because the Bearcats played, well, I guess today. It's late. Jeez,
it is.
Let's get this done, Aaron.
Yep.
Cincinnati wins 27-25. Not pretty.
No.
Not aesthetically pleasing outside of what, about 4 minutes in the second quarter.
There's about 4 plays that was aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. First off, plain and simple, Ben Bryant was bad. I think that was his worst game of the year by far.
He's got to figure some shit out.
Yeah, I think that's like, so for whatever reason, people like to take their anger out on me, which is fine. I'm okay with that. When you started the way Ben started the season, I thought there was a progression and he was getting better as things went on. That has stalled. He is not on an upward trajectory.
I'll go the other way. I don't think it's stalled. I think it's
that's what I'm getting to. He's not on the upward trajectory. He's on a downward trajectory. And if this team's actually going to win the American Athletic Conference and play in a New Year's Six Bowl, Ben Bryant has to be the guy that's completing 65 to 70% of his passes, that's pushing the ball down the field, that's not turning it over, that's not taking senseless sacks. He was off target all night. And I wonder, he said something after the game, and he said this a lot, but somebody showed up in my mentions and asked, and I'm starting to agree. He talks about how hard he is on himself. I have to wonder if he's doing this to himself and trying to be perfect, because he doesn't look like he's finding a rhythm at all. Like it is, he'll hit some plays, but it doesn't feel like, even when there were some struggles earlier in the year and he would have a bad quarter or whatever, there would be 3-4 drives in a row where it felt like he was in a rhythm. When's the last time you really felt like Ben was in a rhythm?
When they go tempo, because there's no time to think about how you're not in a rhythm.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's as simple as, like, he had the deep shots, one to Jaden Thompson, one to Tyler Scott. Like, you don't have time to think about that. You just throw. And he said tonight, like, sometimes he'll get back there and try to, like, mentally think he's, like, laying it out there. I mean, he missed Tyler Scott by 7 yards. And Tyler Scott looked like if you were guarding me and I ran right past you.
I actually disagree. Like the Tyler Scott one, he didn't miss by much. It was.
I was standing there.
Well, from up in the crow's nest, it didn't look like he missed that by much. It was the one to Jaden Thompson on the other side of the field.
He missed that one worse.
That was a good. I mean, that one felt like 7, 10, 12 yards. I mean, he just sailed that one.
Yeah. I mean, he did it on both of them. Like, those are throws that, if you're a pocket quarterback, right? If that's your forte, that's your MO. And then I think he overcompensated on the Nick Mardner one and underthrew him.
Well, that one, I even said the same thing to Brent, but that one, he threw that from the 12-yard line, and it landed, I believe it was close to like 55 yards away. I mean, 55, 60 yards away.
So maybe he let it go late.
Well, that's exactly it. It wasn't that he underthrew him. I don't know that he has much more arm strength than that. I don't know how far
he threw it 55. I didn't count I'm on the field.
Yeah.
It's tough to.
Because
if he threw it 55 yards, then he threw it 2 seconds, a second and a half too late.
Like I said, I said the same exact thing to Brent. But if you're going for the tall guy, and you need to give him a ball that he can high point, and that was you can't high point a ball that's underthrown, not like that.
Right. So yeah, Ben just wasn't good. Like, I don't know why people have a hard time grasping. Like, what I said on Twitter was the booing and the "we want Evan" from the student section is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. What Aaron, let me ask you this. If you were a recruit, high-level recruit, and you were sitting there at that game, and the student section is booing in the first quarter, booing your starting quarterback and chanting for the backup, what feeling are you going to leave campus with? Am I going to go somewhere that they're going to do that to me?
That's a point I hadn't really considered, if I'm being completely honest.
Where do the recruits sit?
Right in front of the student section.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look.
I understand the frustration.
I do too.
Because I don't know how much of it has to do with Evan as opposed to the disappointment in Ben. Because again, we've brought up this point several times: is Ben's the same guy that you were chanting for,
right,
when Dez was a starter.
Well, and this is where it becomes a problem. When I've talked about in the past that it's people are booing him and chanting for Evan before the game starts, or at the first incompletion. So if that's the case, then what do you think is going to happen when he had a bad game, and it snowballs and it gets out of control, and it's a bad look.
Right, it's exacerbated.
It's a bad look.
Absolutely. It also doesn't help when Evan comes in for 2 plays, and you need the stadium to be a little quieter, so you don't end up getting a false start.
That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
So you don't end up getting a false start or something like that, and so he can call out audibles or call out
protections,
what he's seeing around from the defense. Instead, you're cheering your brains out because Evan's finally in, and you
couldn't hear in that. I was standing in the end zone.
You're not setting him up for success in that situation when you're cheering.
I was going to let that go, but since you brought it up,
I think we all know where I stand on things, but not a good look.
All right, let's get to our 3 keys.
Let's do it. Get to bed because, God, it's late. What's that? All right. Defense has to tighten up their chin straps. I don't know that
I'm not giving you that one.
I was gonna say I don't know that I can take the point on that. As I'm looking for team stats.
Holton Ahlers threw for 280 yards.
They had 454 yards.
Yeah, that's a lot. At 25 first downs.
The only thing that I will say for the defense
22 first downs
is, again, much like the UCF game, they were on the field for 36 minutes.
And I won't get as mad at you at this time. Because for the most part, they were and for the most part, they were good. What was my argument the last time? The offense was bad, and the defense didn't do themselves any favors because they couldn't get off the field.
This team has to figure out a way to score 30 plus a game, and I don't know how you go into the half at 24 and
3 in the second half.
It's terrible.
Woof.
Win the turnover battle.
They did not. Did they? It was 1-0.
I believe Ben's interception lost them the turnover battle.
Yeah, I don't think Ahlers didn't throw an interception and nobody fumbled.
I think an interception would have changed the momentum in this game. It would have turned some things around.
This said ECU fumbled twice. Were those special teams that I'm not?
I don't recall.
There was a punt that they bobbled.
There was in a kickoff.
Yeah. So maybe they're counting that as a fumble. I don't remember.
They recovered them. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, 1-0. So you're 0 for 2.
Utilize the biggest receivers on the field, and Josh and Lenny looked like they were starting to at the beginning of the game as you targeted both of them in the first quarter, I think it was, collectively 3 times.
And then Josh ends up with 2 for 18 and Lenny 1 for 11. What they did instead was they targeted the smallest receivers on the field.
I don't understand.
Those 2 small guys did okay.
I think that if you had done any one of the 3 things that I pointed out, any one of them,
then they would have won.
They would have.
They would have won, Aaron. If they did any of those things, they would have won.
It would have not have been as close a game.
I know. I'm messing with you. All right. Let's get to mine. Keep Keaton down. Well,
you knocked him down and out.
I mean, we'll talk about this more on Monday. This is the biggest play of the game. Holton Ahlers agrees. Old man Ahlers is very upset.
Have you watched the replay yet?
I saw it down on the field. I thought it was pretty close. Like, I didn't think it was egregious. I thought he was trying to use his shoulder to separate the man from the ball, but his helmet got in there pretty. Looked like his helmet did get. I don't think it was the crown, but it looked like his face got in there pretty good.
It looked like the one angle looked terrible, and then they flipped the angle, and on that angle, it looked like it was mostly shoulder. And the definition of targeting is leading with the crown, not with the face mask. Face mask is a clean tackle.
Well, because
that's how you have to tackle now. And if he doesn't make that hit, it's a touchdown. So he has to make the decision. Am I hitting him or am I letting him score?
The thing that frustrates me with targeting in college, one, as soon as he went down, there was going to be, as soon as it was clear he was hurt, there was going to be a flag. 2, did you see where the flag came from?
No.
On the other side of the goalpost. I was in the other end zone, and I saw that flag fly for 25 yards.
Also, dude, they still put the pellets or whatever in the flags because they were throwing it at the players all night. It was a weird thing.
The other thing is you can't take your head off. You can't remove your face from the play. I feel like there's this expectation of even if you lead with the shoulder, and it's kind of what you're saying, and you get them with the face mask or you get them with the front of the helmet. Yes, because I have a head, right? I can't remove that from this transaction.
I guess I'm not trying to defend it necessarily. I just want to know how else you're supposed to hit somebody in that
but
situation.
That's what I'm saying. You can't, if you lead with your shoulder and your face gets involved in the play, what else were you supposed to do other than not hit him?
I'm also concerned that now with this being Threat's second time that he's been thrown for targeting, that he may be labeled that type of player. And with a lot of career left of eligibility, that's not a good thing.
I have good news. Next year he gets new refs. He'll have a chance to start fresh, start clean.
We'll see. I mean, your reputation can still precede you,
but they kept Keaton down in the first half outside of the one run. I think other than the one run, he had 10 carries for 9 yards.
Second half, he was really starting to break free.
Second half, dude, that you saw what I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched me talk all week, especially in that play third quarter, where he was all the way on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And was back to the left in the blink of an eye.
He is dangerous down the sidelines.
Yeah. And Van Boston Jabari talked about that's all he's trying to do.
Beeline
to the sidelines and outrace you down the field.
Yep.
And he can go. I won't give myself a point for that because they did it for one half because they didn't do it for the second. But I will say the biggest play of the game, whether you like me saying this or not, was the play that took him out of the game because I don't feel great about UC winning this game if he plays in the fourth quarter.
It's also not something you root for or anything like that. So I don't.
No,
I don't want it to be right. I don't want it to be misconstrued that you're like.
No, not saying I'm rooting for it at all.
Yeah.
Just saying him not being on the field was very likely the difference in who won this game.
Yeah.
Balance the attack. Nope. Do the nip at night thing. They won. The crowd was awesome.
Here's a question I have for you as far as balance the attack.
They lied about attendance, but
it was the 10th highest. Ever.
I've been at least 10 more games that were more crowded than that one.
I've also heard nip at night far louder.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Here's a question for you on balance the attack. Early on, you had Kiner who came in for one rush, got 19 yards, and you struggled to get either McClellan or Montgomery going at all.
And Chuck had a 17-yarder.
He did.
Only 3.9 for him, 2.5 for Ryan. The other Kiner carry he lost to. I mean, I might have tried to have figured out if he was going to be the hot back that day. I don't have a problem with that take. But again, they're just not running the ball much. 22 rushes.
2.5 per carry.
Yeah, 22 rushes. They're not that I don't.
Some of those are sacks.
I know. I don't look at the sacks.
I know. The 3 for -17 does skew the number quite a bit.
Yeah. What I look at is 3.9 for McClellan, 2.5 for Montgomery, and then 8.5 for Kiner. That come on.
It's not going to get it done.
No. And you're putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback that's not trending up because you're not able to take any of that pressure off of him by getting down the field the other way that you get down the field.
Who's also simultaneously putting pressure on himself.
Right.
Ugh.
The offense is in a bad place.
Ugh.
The offense is in a bad place. All right, there you go. Bearcat Brunch Sunday, 9:30 in the morning. We will be back with the BBP on Monday night. I'm going to head to Sycamore tomorrow. See what that's all about.
We taking the night off from the nightcap tomorrow, or are we going to be back here tomorrow night? TBD. I'm trying to think. Oh, we're probably going to have to do the AAC recap tomorrow night. Well, no, we don't. Basketball's on Sunday, but I should have time to write. It's a noon game, so I should have time to write the bites and all that, where we won't. We can maybe touch on it, but we don't have to do a nightcap show. It's fine.
Because it's midnight. These late nights. Get some sleep. I'm sure Brennix will be up and ready for you at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I just heard her.
Oh.
Can't wait.
Have fun. We'll see you maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I don't know. It's the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!